Good day. Yesterday we looked at how Jesus spoke to Matthew and he said to him, "Follow me," and how it upset the religious leaders of the day, because if a rabbi had to take a student, they would say, "Man, you're going to have to come and follow me. But you have to follow me so closely that you're actually living in the dust of the rabbi." And for many of the rabbis at the time, man, they made it a very strict thing for people to actually take a disciple along with them. And it was like, okay, you know the Torah, you're going to have to go to Torah school, and then you would have to follow me and you would have to follow my teachings, and they would say you have to take my yoke upon you. And so that's the reference here in Matthew chapter 11, where Jesus said, my yoke is very different to the yokes of the rabbis and the teachers of the day, because the yoke there they're talking about is the teaching. And so Jesus was saying, my teaching, my yoke is very different to the teachings that these other rabbis are giving. And notice what Jesus says concerning his yoke in verse 28 of Matthew 11. "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So here Jesus is talking about his teaching. When he's talking about his yoke, he's talking about his teaching. And notice how he describes his teaching, which was very, very different to the teaching or the yokes of the rabbis of the day. The Bible says that Jesus spoke to those rabbis of the day and said, you put these yokes and these burdens on people and you don't lift a finger to even help them. And Jesus was saying, my yoke, my teaching is very different. He says, if you are weary and heavy laden, if you are under the heaviness and the burdensome obligations of the law, he says, I will give you rest. Not like these other rabbis, not like these other yokes. And then he says, take my yoke, my teaching upon you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart. So he's saying, very different to what the rabbis of the day were saying, that God is harsh and it's a difficult thing to take on that yoke. But Jesus is saying that he is gentle and humble, and you will find rest for your soul, for his yoke, his teaching is easy and his burden is light. Can you imagine what the other disciples thought when Jesus is saying, take my yoke upon me? I'm going to teach you how to live a life that is free and that is light. Can you imagine what they have thought? This is Jesus speaking to a tax collector who was totally despised. He didn't say to him, stop doing this and start living right before you can follow me. He just said, follow me. He made it very, very simple. And Jesus has said this 21 times to different individuals and groups throughout the New Testament. He has made it very easy for us to follow him. And I think that religion has made it difficult for us to follow God. And it's spending time in his presence that changes me. Jesus hung out with sinners, he ate with them, he feasted with them, and he didn't become like them. No, they started to become like him. He was so comfortable in his skin, he was so comfortable living in love that it affected those people around him. And I want to encourage you, go and spend time with him and allow him to love you the way that he loved these people in the New Testament, where you can start to experience transformation because he loves you just the way that you are. Always remember, you are highly favored and deeply loved of God.